I've been around Tesla owners long enough to notice a pattern. Most people buy the car, figure out the basics in the first week, and then never go deeper. They remote start it, check the battery percentage, maybe cool the cabin before they get in, and that's where it stops. Meanwhile, the app they're using every single day has layers most owners genuinely never find, not because they're hard to use, but because nobody pointed them out. That's what this video is. 13 features buried inside the official Tesla app that most owners walk right past. Some of them are straightforward once you know where to look. A few require a specific trick to unlock, and at least one is sitting in a menu you've probably opened a dozen times without noticing it. These work across Model 3, Model Y, Model S, and Model X. Let's get into them, starting from 13 and counting down to the one I think will genuinely change how you use the car daily. Feature 13, Speed Limit Mode, and why adults should use it on themselves. Most people hear speed limit mode and immediately think parental controls, teenagers, new drivers, that kind of thing. And yes, it works great for that, but there's a use case for yourself that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Inside the app, go to Security and Drivers, then look for Speed Limit Mode. You can set a hard cap, 75, 80, 85 miles per hour, whatever you choose. And once it's set, the car physically cannot exceed it. You can pair it with a PIN so you can't override it on impulse. Now, why would you voluntarily do that to yourself? Long highway road trips. I've heard from more than a few Tesla owners who took a performance model out on an open interstate, looked down, and realized they'd been cruising at well over 90 for 30 minutes without noticing. These cars are so quiet and so smooth that speed doesn't register the way it does in a conventional vehicle. A self-imposed limit at 80 means you arrive without a ticket and without the near miss that sometimes comes with losing track of how fast you're actually going. There's also a practical angle for families sharing one car. If your spouse is using the Model Y for a week while you're traveling, you can set the limit remotely from the app, hand over the keys, and not spend the week wondering about it. Feature 12, Specs and Warranty, the tab most owners have never tapped. This one sounds mundane. It isn't, especially if you're ever buying or selling. Scroll to the bottom of the main app screen and tap Specs and Warranty. What comes up is the full technical breakdown of your specific vehicle. Not a generic Model Y spec sheet, but your car's actual configuration. Trim, hardware generation, range rating, factory options. If you bought used and you're still not 100% sure what you actually have under the hood, this tells you in about 5 seconds. Tap into the warranty section and you'll see exact expiration dates, not just 8 years, but the actual calendar date your basic vehicle warranty ends and the separate date your battery warranty expires. Most people I've talked to genuinely don't know when their battery warranty runs out. They know it's long, but not the exact date that matters. Because if the car develops a range issue 18 months before that date, you have a warranty claim. If you find out 2 months after the date, you don't. Knowing that number costs you nothing but a few seconds in the app. Feature 11, the battery health test and the honest caveats around it. I want to be straight with you on this one, because the situation with this feature is a little complicated, and I'd rather you know exactly what to expect going in. Tesla rolled out a battery health test in early 2025, starting with Software Update 2025.83. It lives on the car's touchscreen, not the phone app, under Controls, then Service, then Battery Health. The test runs a full discharge and recharge cycle while the car is plugged into an AC charger overnight, and it comes back with a percentage showing how much of the original capacity your battery still holds. A 2-year-old Model Y that comes back at 94% is performing right where you'd want it. Something older with heavy supercharger use that comes back in the low 80s tells a different story. Now the caveat, a later update 2025.26 quietly removed this test from a number of newer vehicles, particularly some 2025 Model 3S and 2024 Model S vehicles. Model Y owners on recent software have generally kept access. If you open that menu and the option simply isn't there, your vehicle may be one of the affected models. Worth opening the menu and checking. If it's available to you, run it. Owners who've done it typically report the test takes somewhere between 12 and 18 hours plugged into an AC charger, and the result recalibrates your range display to be more accurate afterward, which is a separate benefit on its own. For anyone buying a used Tesla, this is one of the first things I'd ask the seller to pull up. A result you can see on the screen removes a lot of the guesswork that normally comes with evaluating a used EV battery. Feature 10. Charging history export. Your accountant will thank you. If you use your Tesla for any kind of business driving, this one has real dollar value attached to it, and in my experience, most owners who could benefit from it have never touched it. Tap the 3 stacked bars in the top right of the app, go to charging, then tap history. What you'll find is a complete log of every single charging session the car has ever had. Date, location, energy added, and cost. It goes all the way back to your delivery day, nothing gets deleted. Every supercharger stop on a client visit, every home charge session, every third-party station, all of it. Time-stamped and organized. The entire log can be exported as a spreadsheet. If you're in real estate, sales, healthcare, or any field where you drive for work and can write off mileage. This data lets you reconstruct your driving history in detail. You can cross-reference the charging locations with the dates to separate personal trips from business use, put together a mileage log after the fact, and give your accountant something solid to work with instead of a best guess. Most people I've spoken to who discover this feature had already missed one tax season's worth of deductions before finding it. Don't be that person. It's all sitting there, waiting. Feature 9. Sentry Mode Exclusions, the smarter way to run security. Sentry Mode is genuinely excellent at what it does. Cameras watching all 4 sides of the car, motion alerts, footage saved and accessible from your phone. But a lot of owners run into the same problem. They either leave it on all the time and deal with the battery drain, or they get frustrated enough that they turn it off entirely. There's a middle approach that most owners haven't set up yet. Inside the app under Security, you'll find the option to add Sentry Mode exclusions. You set specific locations, your home address, your work parking garage, your parents' house, and Sentry automatically deactivates when the car is parked at any of those spots. The moment you drive away from those trusted locations and park somewhere else, it activates on its own. You never have to think about it again. What this means practically is that your car isn't sure cameras and chewing through battery all night in your own driveway, but it is fully active at every unfamiliar parking lot, airport garage, or street parking situation where you actually want coverage. Tesla has also reduced Sentry Mode's power consumption significantly in recent updates, so combining that efficiency improvement with location exclusions tends to make the battery impact genuinely manageable for daily use. Feature 8. Sharing car access via text. No keycard, no trip required. This one solves a problem that comes up more often than you'd think, and the solution is buried just far enough in the app that most owners don't find it until they've already dealt with the problem the hard way. If someone needs access to your car, a family member, a friend visiting from out of town, someone picking up the car while you're away, you don't need to physically hand them a key card or be present to let them in. Inside the app, scroll down to Manage Driver, tap Add Driver, then create Invitation. The app generates a link. You text it to whoever needs access. They tap the link, download the Tesla app, and within a few minutes, they have full remote access to the vehicle. They can unlock it, start it, use the app features, and even save their own driver profile settings. What most people don't realize is that you can also revoke that access from the app at any time, remotely, without the other person needing to do anything on their end. I've seen situations where someone lends the car for a weekend and then spends 3 days hoping the other person remembered to return it properly. This way you have a real-time view of where the car is and the ability to pull access back whenever you want, much cleaner than any physical key handoff. Feature 7. Parental controls that go deeper than most parents realize. Most Tesla owners with teenagers in the house know there's a parental control option somewhere in the app. Far fewer have actually gone through and set it up completely, and there are a couple of settings inside it that tend to surprise people when they see them. Go to Security and Drivers, then look for the Parental Controls section. The obvious one is Speed Limit Mode. You can cap the top speed and pin it so it can't be changed without the code. But the acceleration setting is the one that catches people off guard. You can switch the car's throttle response to chill mode, which brings 0 to 60 acceleration from the standard range down to around 7 seconds. For context, a stock Model Y in normal mode will push you back in the seat in a way that new drivers genuinely aren't expecting. Chill mode makes the car feel closer to what a teenager might have practiced on in a driving school vehicle. That's a meaningful safety difference in real-world conditions, not just a spec sheet number. There are also curfew notifications. The app alerts you if the car is moving outside the hours you've set, and you can require certain safety features to stay active, like speed limit warnings that chime when the car exceeds a set threshold. The whole setup takes maybe 10 minutes in the app, and you can adjust any of it remotely at any time. Set a pin on the whole thing so none of it can be changed from the car without your code. Feature 6. Dashcam viewer and live camera access from your phone. Your Tesla is recording the world around it constantly. Most owners vaguely know this because they've heard about Sentry Mode, but a lot of them have never actually accessed that footage through the app, even in situations where it would have been genuinely useful. Go to Security and Drivers in the app, then tap Dashcam Viewer at the top. Any recorded event is right there, categorized by date and event type. You can tap into a clip, switch between the different camera angles for that event, and download a specific 30-second segment directly to your phone's photo library with a single tap. If you're dealing with an insurance claim, a police report, or just confirming what happened in a parking lot, you have the footage in your hand before you've even left the scene. The layer on top of that is the live camera view. If Sentry Mode is active, you can tap View Live Camera in the app and see a real-time feed from the car's exterior cameras right now wherever you are. I've heard from owners who've used this to check on the car during an overnight layover at an airport to confirm a parking situation looked fine before walking away, and in at least one case to watch a situation unfold in a parking garage and call security before anything happened. That's not a gimmick. That's a genuinely useful security capability that most owners have no idea they're already carrying in their pocket. Feature 5. Scheduled actions, not just charging. Most Tesla owners have heard that you can schedule charging to run at night when electricity rates are lower. That's a real money saver if you're on a variable rate plan. Set your charging window to something like 11 p.m. to 6 a.m., and the car waits for off-peak hours before it starts pulling from the grid. Over the course of a year, that adds up to a noticeable difference on the electricity bill. But the schedule function goes quite a bit further than charging, and this is where it gets useful in day-to-day life. Inside the schedule section of the app, you can set a preconditioned cabin at a specific time, 7:30 a.m. on weekdays, for example, so the interior is already at your preferred temperature when you walk out the door. In genuinely hot or cold climates, this isn't a luxury. It's the difference between getting in a car that's ready to drive and spending the first 5 minutes dealing with an uncomfortable cabin. What makes it practical rather than just clever is that you can set it to repeat on specific days of the week, or set it as a one-time event. If your schedule changes on Thursdays, you set Thursday differently. It adjusts. There's also a scheduled light show option, which you can set for a specific date and time. It sounds like a novelty, but I've seen people use it as a genuinely entertaining moment at events and gatherings. The point is, the scheduling system is flexible enough to handle more than most owners have ever tested it for. Feature 4. Calendar Sync. Your car navigates before you ask it to. This is probably the feature that gets the biggest reaction when people first see it working, and it's one that most Tesla owners have never enabled. In the app, tap the 3 stacked bars in the top right, tap your name, and scroll down to Calendar Sync. Turn it on. From that point forward, your Tesla reads your phone's calendar and automatically loads the location of your upcoming events into navigation. If you have a dinner reservation at 7 p.m. and the restaurant sent you a calendar invite, your car will have that address ready to navigate when you get in at 6:45. You don't type anything. You don't voice command anything. The car already knows where you're going. What usually surprises people is how many calendar entries already have location data that they never thought about. AMC movie confirmations, dentist appointment reminders, kids' sports schedules. All of those carry location data that your car can now read. For someone who moves through a lot of appointments in a day, this removes a genuinely annoying friction point. The phone stays in your pocket, the screen shows you the route, and you just drive. Feature 3. The 2-thumb fifth icon trick. Look at the bottom row of your Tesla app's home screen. 4 quick access icons. That's all Tesla officially puts there, and most owners assume the row is fixed. It isn't. There's a hidden 5th slot, and reaching it requires a very specific 2-thumb gesture that Tesla never documented anywhere official. Here's how it works. Long press the row of icons to enter editing mode. In editing mode, you can swap out the 4 icons for other shortcuts. Now, with your right thumb, pick up one of the available icons and drag it over the 4th icon in the row, but don't let go. While your right thumb is still holding that position, use your left thumb to press the first icon and drag it toward the 2nd slot. The icon your right hand is holding gets displaced off-screen to the right, into an invisible fifth position. Release both thumbs at the same moment, and a fifth icon appears in the row. It genuinely takes a few tries to get the timing right, and the feel of it differs slightly between iOS and Android, but once it sticks, it stays. That fifth slot is yours to fill with whatever shortcut you actually need one tap away. Sentry toggle, charging port, location check. It's one of those things that feels absurd the first time you do it and then becomes completely natural once it's set up. Feature 2. Multi-stop road trip planning from the app. Most people know you can send a single destination to the car from the app. Tap location, type the address, hit send, done. That's the version everyone uses. What most owners haven't tried is building a full itinerary with multiple stops before they're even in the car. Tap the location icon, enter your destination, and then look for Edit Trip. From there, you can add waypoints, a specific supercharger you want to stop at, a restaurant along the route, a friend's house for a midpoint break. The app calculates the full route, including exactly where and how long you need to charge at each stop, and what percentage of battery you'll arrive with at each leg. You can also set a target arrival charge percentage. If the place you're ending up has a charger, drop that target down and the car carries less buffer, which means fewer stops and a faster overall trip. Do all of this the evening before a road trip, save it, and by the time you walk out to the car in the morning, the entire plan is already loaded. In my experience, this is the feature that makes the biggest practical difference on long trips. Not having to plan charging stops on the fly from the car's screen while you're already driving saves real time and eliminates that low-grade range anxiety that catches people off guard in the middle of nowhere. Feature 1. The charge limit one-time override. This is the one I'd want every Tesla owner to know, because in my experience it's the most commonly mishandled charging behavior, and it happens entirely by accident. Most owners set their daily charge limit to 80%. Tesla recommends it, the app suggests it, it's the right call for battery longevity. The problem comes the night before a long trip. Usually what happens is the owner goes into the app, slides the limit up to 100%, plugs in, and then either forgets to change it back or doesn't get around to it for a few days. The car spends a week charging to 100% nightly, which is exactly the habit you were trying to avoid. Here's the fix Tesla built in that most people don't notice. Open the app, go to charging, and drag the charge limit slider past the daily recommended threshold, past that 80% marker. The moment the slider crosses that line, the app pops up a prompt asking if you want to charge above the recommended limit for this one session only. Confirm it. The car charges to whatever higher number you set for that one charge, and then automatically resets itself back to your normal daily limit when the session finishes. You don't have to remember to change it back. You don't have to set a reminder. The car handles the reset on its own. That's how Tesla actually designed this to work. The one-time override prompt exists specifically to handle the road trip scenario without leaving owners stuck managing the limit manually. Most people scroll right past it because they don't realize it's asking them something. Now you do. From here on out, the night before any long trip, slide past the line, confirm the single session prompt, plug in, walk away. Done. That's 13. And honestly, there are more where those came from. Tesla pushes software updates regularly, and features that didn't exist 6 months ago are showing up quietly in menus right now. There's an automations feature currently in testing that would let you build conditional triggers, precondition the cabin when you leave a specific location, activate Sentry the moment you park in a certain area, that kind of thing. Worth keeping an eye on as it rolls out more broadly. What I'd actually encourage you to do is open the app after this video and just look around. Go into sections you've never tapped, the scheduling menu, the service section, the security settings. Most of what's in there is self-explanatory once you know it exists. The hard part was knowing to look. If one of these features caught you off guard, drop it in the comments. I read them, and I genuinely use what people bring up to figure out what to cover next. And if you want to go further, charging habits that actually extend battery life, the in-car settings worth turning off, the accessories that hold up over time. It's all on this channel. Stick around.